Hello, my name is Mustafa and I'm your International Student Officer for National Union of Students. Last Monday, on 13th of July, a new set of rules were announced by the Home Office that I believe would significantly affect all of us. So I'm just going to touch on some of them and explain what we need to do to oppose them and what the implications of these new changes are. So I believe one of the most important ones is the removal of the established presence provision. So what this means is that from 12th of November onwards, if you are in the UK and applying for a new visa, you need to prove your financial ability to live here the same way that someone applying from abroad would need to have. This would have significant implications, particularly for sabbatical officers, new sabbatical officers, our international students that are about to start. This means before you apply for your new visa for your sabbatical role, you need to show that you have £9,000 in your account for at least a month in order to be able to get the visa. Also would have implications for medical students. When they're getting their extension to do their work placements, again, they have to show they have the £9,000. Also, if you are FE or HE students and resubmitting, which is resitting or resubmitting out of the time that you have a visa and need to extend your visa because of that reason, that means you need to show that you have, again, the £9,000, even if you're just staying in the UK for 1 month. And also, if you're a PhD student and doing your write-up, again, this applies to you as well. The new academic progression rules mean that if you've done a BA, for example, and you want to do a 1-year course on top of that to enhance your abilities in a certain area, but the new course is considered to be under MA level, you're not allowed to get a visa to do that course. Another very, very important rule is that dependents of people on Tier 4 visas are not going to be allowed to work anymore unless the work that they would do would be considered to be a skilled work. However, they haven't actually explained what a skilled work means. This is in line with them taking away the right of dependents, the Home Office, I mean. So, for example, in 2012, the right of BA students, undergrad students, was taken away to bring their dependents with them when they come to the UK to study. So also they are increasing the inner London and outer London living requirements as well. Previously, you only had to show this if you were coming from abroad. Now you have to show it even if you're extending your visa while you're in the UK. One of the biggest groups of students that will be affected by these changes would be students studying in further education colleges, publicly funded ones. The new changes, what they mean, from 3rd of August, every student, international students, studying in publicly funded college would not be able to work at all. Previously, they had the right to work 10 hours a week in term time and unlimited outside of term. With the new rules, they wouldn't have the right to work at all. This is, of course, in line with taking away the right of work of international students. It was previously the right to work was taken away from international students studying in private colleges. So now it's been taken away from further education colleges. It would, of course, target the most vulnerable of international students, which are reliant on the work that they do. In November, also, another new rule that would come into place for further education students is that they can't actually extend their visa to get to go to a HE course or change their visa to a work visa or anything like that while they're in the UK. When they finish their visa on their further education college, they need to leave the UK and apply from home again and come back, which obviously is an extra barrier for these students to be able to get jobs altogether. Another new change for FE students would be to reduce the time that you're allowed to study an FE course. So previously you could be a student on an FE level for up to 3 years. Now it's being reduced to 2 years. For example, if you come from a place where you don't already have an A-level equivalent certificate, you're not going to be able to actually do that A-level equivalent and your further education course all within 2 years' time. So it, again, disproportionately affects people coming from poorer backgrounds and poorer countries. Obviously, these new changes are very devastating and difficult to deal with, but this doesn't mean that we shouldn't do anything about it. I think the first thing that we should all do is to get our unions to release a statement condemning these new changes as much as possible. Ideally, you want your university to release a statement as well, so you can do this jointly or put pressure on the university to do the same. This would be important because if there are a lot of noises being made, then it's more difficult for the government to completely ignore all the backlash that these new changes would have. Another thing is to write to your MP. All of these new changes are being proposed as secondary legislation, which means that they don't actually need to be debated in Parliament. They can just impose them and go ahead with it. This is very dangerous if it's not opposed by your MPs, by our MPs. So make sure you write to your MP and ask them to pray against these new changes. What this means is that this would force the Parliament to actually get to debate and argue for and against these new changes, and for it to be voted on rather than just being imposed by the Home Office without any opposition. Thirdly, I think if you can, try to find laws that are linked to your institution and write to them and explain what devastating effects these new changes would have on your international students. Of course, writing letters and tweeting and emailing is not the only thing that we need to do. One of the things that we're thinking right now is a national day of walkout in solidarity with international students. So we're thinking when term starts in September, so around November time, all students around the country, international, home, EU, wherever you're from, to choose a day and all nationally coordinated walk out of college, walk out of university, walk out of all your classes and show solidarity for international students against the new measures that are affecting international students, because these are not new. These attacks have been happening for years now, and it's just getting completely out of hand. And if they're not opposed now, then we don't know when they're going to stop. Follow the Twitter handle of the International Student Campaign, which is NUSIS Campaign, and my Twitter is SM Rajai. So make sure you follow so you know what's going on. So hopefully everything goes well. Thank you.